need this fucking setup right here. What's going on, family? It's your man, the DJ Beloved. And today, I have a special show for you. I have my brother, the incomparable Kelly G Griffin here. I got to blow you up like that, man. Listen, just to give you a quick, summary of who this man is and who he's been. WCGI Radio in Chicago with Steve Harvey, right?
GCI, yeah.
GCI. You were the person behind shows like the BET Awards, 106 in Park, the BET Hip Hop Awards, BET Music Matters, the BET Experience.
Yeah.
Also, Revolt TV with Puffy.
Mm-hmm.
So, with no further ado, my brother, Kelly G, yo. So, what haven't I mentioned so far?
Well, first of all, man, congratulations on podcast.
Thank you.
I'm always been a fan of you and what you do in your hustle. And I feel like there's two of you because you put so many damn records and remixes out. I'm like, I don't know how in the world this guy. Right? I got an album out. I got another single out, EP. I'm like,
Hey,
man,
man,
it's gotta be two beloveds. But much respect, man. So when you told me you was doing a podcast, and like I said, I've always just, admire your hustle, man, and your integrity and what you do. So I'm here, man.
thank you, man, and you got to change that because I actually didn't tell you I was doing a podcast. I asked you what I should do to start one, and you just said, just start, just do it, So thank you for that, because honestly, like I said, man, it took a lot of encouragement for me to even try to step into this arena. Like you see me over here fumbling with the mic and stuff like that. Like this is
it's all good.
This is so.
I started my career in radio and helped a lot of talent along the way and learned along the way. So just keep going at it, bro.
Speaking of helped a lot of talent along the way, who are some of the artists that you helped get their start to fame?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be part of what I would say almost like a revolution at BET. And we were in D.C. In 1999, and we were getting folks to come down to D.C. And, obviously it was a little difficult because D.C. isn't a natural hub for talent to come through. And we decided to move to New York and develop a show called 106 in Park. And our first show was actually 9/11/2000. And we created a platform. We literally looked at what was out there and said, hey, wait, there's nothing for urban folks. There's nothing for black folks to come home to. And really just, capitalizing off the history of what BT was. Remember, I grew up on BT, right? So the first time I saw Maxwell was on BT. First time I saw Lauryn Hill was on Erykah Badu. So that was the same sentiment. So we created a platform called 106 in Park, and, so many countless amount of talent that went through there from, Kanye West, Alicia Keys, John Legend, Chris Brown, T-Pain, Trey Songz, Drake. One of the reasons why me and Drake were cool to this day was because he remembers me as the guy that played his first video. Right. And I only played it because this was a time when Trey Songz was hot. And Trey was like, this is dude from Toronto, man, you got to rock with. His name is Drake. And I was like, no problem, man. Let's put it as a new joint.
So Trey Songz put you up on Drake?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And then one of the guys used to work with me, Omar Grant, he would come in, he was like a music head, and he's the one that helped me get Music Matters off the ground. Mm-hmm. And he was like, man, this kid Drake. Like, he's always, like, Omar, shout out to Omar Grant. He's over at Sony Publishing right now. Okay. Not the Omar Grant from, I think, Rock Nation. I think there's two of them out there, but this is Omar Grant, BET. He was a producer at 106. He started at Rap City, 106, and then I grabbed him for Music Matters. And he was telling me about Drake, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Nice. Well, I mean, you're answering my questions without me even asking questions. First of all, see, what people don't know is you're a Libra. I'm a Libra. This is actually how our brotherhood started. So we have a mutual friend, Wayne Williams.
DJ Wayne.
DJ Wayne Williams. Wayne was a guest at my Monday night party.
Yeah. And
he said, oh, okay, yeah, my boy gonna give me a ride.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And then, afterwards, like Wayne, if you know Wayne Williams, you know that he always has another plan. Like, there's always something else. Like, Wayne will tell you to meet him somewhere just to go somewhere else, right? Yeah. So after the party, Wayne's like he's hanging around, and I'm like, so he's like, oh no, my boy gotta go, so you gonna take me
back?
Wait, you gonna take me back to?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, all right. So, and it was crazy because to hear a person so accomplished say that they're a fan of mine, that absolutely blows my mind, and I'm extremely humbled by that. So thank you, because you know I didn't know what you did, like you know what I'm saying, because a lot of this is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it's not like which is strange to me because your partner's name is mentioned a lot. You know what I mean? Your business partner, Kevin Lyles, he's mentioned a lot, but it's like you're right there with him. So it's sometimes strange to me when it's like he's just as important. You know what I mean? But when we got to your house, Wayne was like, "Oh nah, come inside. My man want to meet you. He want to talk to you." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Okay," but you wanted to meet me based on you being a fan of my work.
Yeah.
And I walk in and I'm like, nah. And it's like we instantly just clicked, man.
Yeah.
And from that day we just been cool. And I appreciate.
And we need to be doing more stuff.
Well, I was getting ready to go there.
Yeah.
But
we got to do a Jersey to Chicago.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
We talked about that a lot.
Yeah. So we got to make that happen.
So the thing is, we clicked like that, and you put out some pretty big records. I mean, almost everything you put out was a number one.
Yeah, which was and I'll tell the story that I had just wanted to. I've been on the executive side, obviously, and house was always my love, and DJing and all of that. And Wayne Williams, by the way, was like, "Man, you should get with Terry." And I was like, "Yeah, I know Terry from Chicago, but I don't, He's like, "That's where you need to put your records out."
Big shout out Terry Hunter.
Terry Hunter. And so I had this record called Chosen, right? And I think I gave it to Wayne or somebody had it, and all of a sudden they were just playing it. And I said, I want to put it out. And he's like, "Yo, put it out with Terry." And at the time, Charles Dixon connected me with DJ Spin. Like, again, these guys are
big shout Charles Dixon too, because I got a Charles Dixon story too.
Yeah. So, and he was like, "Man, you should get with DJ Spin." I said, "Man, I love DJ Spin stuff. Like, he's just like
big shout DJ Spin from Quantize.
Yeah,
our big brother.
That's another factory up there. I'm like, there's got to be 6 DJ Spins because he's putting a record out every 2 minutes.
Also a Libra. Spin and I share the same birthday.
Oh, get out!
Yeah, the three of us, our birthdays are the same week.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that about Spin. Yeah. But anyway, so me being, just trying to be doing the right thing, I said, Spin, because he wanted the record, and I said, Spin, I have been, in conversations with Terry. I want to do the right thing, and just, he's like, "Oh, that's cool," and we ended up putting out this Go Down Moses with him. And Terry had been sick. If anybody who deals with Terry Hunter, like you text
terrible with the phone.
Yeah.
Call him on Tuesday if you want to talk to him on Saturday.
Right.
Okay,
Terry. And then if you get him, hold on one second. Right. And I just like, man, this is, I was just frustrated. I was like, man, this is crazy. And come find out, he had been going through, a tremendous time. Like he was in the hospital, all of this. I was just like, oh my God, never knew.
Rough.
And it all says that you just have to wait for God's timing, right? And
free jewelry.
Right. That was what it was. It was God's timing, and rock with Terry ever since. And honestly, I ended up just making records that I thought was medicine for myself. Because I think in the past I was doing remixes trying to impress somebody or hope that and I realized that, and it's crazy because I tell this type of advice to people in hip hop and R&B and all this other outside the house. Be authentically you. You know what I mean? God doesn't do duplicates, right?
Free jewelry.
He it's one of one that he makes. So I realized like, okay, I'm gonna do what I'm doing, and it's coming from a real space. that I want to be chosen, right? And this is a record that I would put on when I got depressed or when I got discouraged and stuff like that. And to hear Jake say, "You're chosen. Don't worry about anything. You're chosen." So that's how it started.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of us, and when I say us, I mean black men,
Mm-hmm.
we're not transparent about that depression space.
Yeah.
And then coincidentally, we're Libras again. Because Spin, we had a conversation a few weeks ago, and he mentioned the same thing.
Yeah, man.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, to me, y'all are sitting at the top of the mountain. So it's like,
No,
But-
but that's not. I'm telling you, brother, because we're all human, because we all experience life in a different way. You got to realize, and again, I came up around a lot of celebrities, right? And what you realize is that people are human. People struggle with the same type of issues that you and I do. Money doesn't change that, right? Sometimes money actually amplifies it, right? You look at a Kanye West that's dealing with, just mental issues. You do, but they're they're just like us, right? The guy that goes, "Oh, I got to get my kids," and you know what I mean? They're regular people, and I think this pandemic really has amplified the fact that we are dealing with issues, right?
the pandemic pulled the curtains back for a lot of folks.
And
But-
we still haven't, I believe, we still have not seen the true after effects of the pandemic.
Okay, look, watch this, okay? All right, y'all. I want y'all to see something, right? So I was sitting at this desk this morning doing all this writing, okay? I got 2 pages, all right? I'm going to take this book and close it because he's answering, he's like all of the questions that
Oh, my fault.
hey, look, let's just talk shit. It is what it is. So yeah, because I was gonna ask you, as a person who has personally helped Kanye, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What's something that you would tell him now? Like if you saw him right now and it was like, look, you got an hour to talk to him. Like, what's one thing you would say to him in this space?
Whew. Go see the doctor. Like, and it's not a jab, man.
Nah, I
It's
get it.
It's real. And the problem is when you have certain issues, man, and you rise to fame very, very quickly like he did. And I saw the turning point, at least for me. And it's been a while since I talked to him, but the turning point really was when his mom died. Yeah. I remember that sweet lady in the at 106 in Park. This is when it was 50 Cent and Kanye. They were going neck and neck.
When the albums was coming out the same day. And Kanye said if 50 sold more than him, that he would retire.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, whatever the bet was, and then we brought Jay-Z out and all of that. It was his mom, I think, that sort of centered him. And, when his mom died, and again, you got that's what he said. I told the world, you can't tell me nothing, which was a single, until somebody told me my mom had died. And I think that's when things started to spiral. I would tell him, I would say go see the doctor. And the problem that happens, man, is a lot of these guys get around these groupies, or not groupies, or just hang-oners, so to say.
Hang-arounds.
And if you keep telling a guy he's Jesus Christ,
he gonna start to
believe it.
And
I'm a genius.
But
and you'll never be able to live up to that.
But you know what I think about a lot of celebrities too? I think a lot of celebrities are emotionally and mentally living out of their suitcase.
Yeah, that's a great. Well, of course they are.
You know what I mean?
Remember, that's why we love them.
Right.
We don't love Michael Jackson because he was normal.
Right.
We don't love Jay-Z because he was normal.
And it's a bit unfair, actually. You know what I mean? Because, like, even with us, you know what I mean? Like, at what point do I just get to be freaking Dwayne?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I sometimes I actually want to pay to get in. I want to stand online. I want to experience the whole
Right.
thing. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to be in here and not take pictures
Right.
unless it's with my phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, at what point are we just allowed to be? You know, and
But you've been called. See, and that's that's
see,
the thing.
Okay, here we go.
Hey,
Hey,
look,
it is what it is.
that's what it is. You know, you can't have all these hot records out here and not have a certain responsibility. And people think that. People think, well, I just give me my life. No. You wanted the fame. You wanted the celebrity. You wanted all of this. And there's a price to pay for it. It's part of the gig, right? And a lot of people don't understand it. And again, I've seen celebrities go from 0 to 100. And this is pre-Twitter and Instagram and all of that other stuff.
Right.
So you can only imagine what it is now, right?
Exactly.
You know, people living in this fantasy world.
Yo, listen, I mean, I'm a regular dude, man. I might wear the same shirt 2 days in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard now with social media to wear the same shirt twice. So I came up with what I call the beloved V-neck policy. I just wear white V-necks every day.
Right.
That way,
Well, that's what Steve Jobs did.
it don't matter
But the
if
thing
I had the
is,
shirt on twice or not.
beloved, remember, I remember reading an awesome article in, I think it was Vogue, right, about President Obama. And one of the things he was saying was that there are certain decisions he just doesn't make, right? Because his role is to concentrate on the problems of the country or of the world. So he doesn't decide what he wears. He doesn't decide what he eats. There's somebody on his staff that decides that, so that I can just focus on being creative, right? Same with Steve Jobs. He wore the same shit every day, right? Mark Zuckerberg, same thing every day, because they're like, I just want to concentrate on being creative. I will say I do miss the old days of radio programming, because, you know, I travel a lot. And one of the things that I used to enjoy is when I'd go to a different market, I would hear records that were unique to the market. Nowadays, with these conglomerates that are out here, everybody's playing the same record. You know, everybody's playing whatever the top 5 records are. They're playing it, and they're playing it every hour. It used to be, when I was coming along, we used to rotate our power, what we call power records, was these popular records, at least every 2 hours. Nowadays, it's almost every 15 minutes, which is crazy. Like, I remember listening to Hot 97 and, you know, stopping at CVS, hearing one song, and it's the same record. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what just happened? It's because the attention span of, you know, today's consumer is completely very short, and they have so many other options. So that would be my take on, you know, radio today. Yeah, and then you got stuff like this, like podcasts and stuff. So there's just so much, you know, you gotta find ways to entertain people.
And with that being said, though, do you feel like people are going out of their way to try to entertain people?
On radio? Are you
on
saying?
Radio, on social media?
I think, I wouldn't know what
you pick. I mean,
I wouldn't know how to program a station nowadays, right? I mean, honestly, and be competitive. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
I wouldn't expect to hear you say that.
I just think it's such a challenge, man.
Because it feels like there's no real lifetime, like no lifespan of what's hot now.
Yeah, and what the music is so shallow.
Oh, come on.
And I'll say that especially in our dance community. A lot of shallow music out there, bro.
Uh-oh.
I'm not here to fire shots. I just wish the dance community could be a little more creative and take a little more chances and continue to support something. We're so quick to move on to the next. Why not? If Beloved has a great record out, why not? Let's just keep playing it. Like
That's it.
why we gotta
Be worried about how new it is.
how new it is? Oh, such and such already played that. I gotta play something new. Like, and you know what? Honestly, the consumer doesn't really care. The consumer wants to hear good music.
That's it. And see, that's what I like about open format DJing. Now, let me be clear. When I say open format, I'm not talking about top 40.
Right.
I'm talking about
You can go anywhere the spirit takes
I
you.
can play what I feel like. Like I did my boys' cookout, big shout Mike Haywood. And I love the fact that he asked me, do you want to play by yourself or do you want me to book somebody to play with you? And I'll say, nah, let me stretch out.
That's what's up.
And all he says is, uh-oh. Because he knows I get to go in that bag. Like, I played everything from Whitney Houston, You Give Good Love, to the Winans, Addicted Love, to the Winans, Give Me You, to Kelly G, Keep Wondering.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I played Tribe Called Quest, I played LL Cool J, I'm Bad.
Yeah.
I played, like, I was just playing music.
You're taking, and this is what I miss. You know, I got into this thing because I was like, you know what? I want to DJ. I love DJing. And, you know, I can't, I've been around for a while, right? So I'm the guy that was, you know, record hunting every market I go into. The first thing I get off the plane, I want to go to the record store. Right. I want to get,
Where's the music at?
where the music at? So that whole thrill and that chase of, you know, finding records and gems, and especially, oh, I got a Joe Tex 12-inch promo, ain't gonna bump no more. Oh my goodness, you know, like, so I came from that era, and I come from an era where when you went to go see a DJ, first of all, you didn't know who the DJ really was, right? He was up in a dark booth. He was inaccessible, right? And he was just playing great music.
And this is what I'm trying to explain to people when people get upset with me that I don't want to take pictures and carry on.
Yeah.
I don't come from that. I may be younger than your normal house music DJ in today's era.
Right.
But I have been DJing so long that I come from an era where it was like, yeah, people only knew I was a DJ if they got there early and saw me walking through with these records.
Right.
They didn't know.
But you're there at work, and that's how.
That's it.
I hate a bunch of folks in the DJ booth and all of that. I'm here to work, man. Like, I'm here to work. This is not, you know, and I think, you know, today's sort of generation is all about the phone and flossing and all of that.
I tried it. I'm telling you, listen, I tried it.
Yeah.
It's the most aggravating thing in the world. Like, I remember being told repeatedly, you're not visible enough. You're not visible enough. You're not visible enough. And I was like, I'm DJing 3-4 nights a week. I'm talking about not visible enough. Like, but you're not on your phone. You're not, because I ain't talking to nobody.
Right.
Like, I'm DJing.
Right.
Oh, but you need to post when you're in the booth, and you need to do a little video clip, and you need to spin around, and I saw jokers doing it.
Right. But I think, again, like, at the end of the day, you need to be authentically you. And I tell artists this all the time. Figure out where your voice is, right? You may not be Twitter savvy enough, right? You may be the guy that just wants to, you take a bunch of pictures. So maybe Instagram is your platform. Maybe
Right.
you have these short thoughts of creativity. So maybe TikTok is your platform.
Mhm.
Find that platform where you can express yourself naturally. Because otherwise, like you said, you're a fish out of water. You're like, well, wait, that ain't what I do. Like,
Because this ain't what I do. But
you evolve to it.
well, the thing is, I've kind of gotten to a point where it's like, if I am going to do it, I'm going to do it my way.
Exactly.
I'm going to.
And I tell you what, beloved, this is, when you told me this, I was like, this is perfect. Because ever since I know you, you've always been just curious, right? And that's, to me, that's one of the characteristics of a great podcast host. They're just curious. Why? How did you do? You're always like probing and wanting to learn and wanting to evolve and wanting to, level up. So this is a perfect platform for you.
Well, thank you for that soliloquy, because I wouldn't have put it that way. And it's crazy because my brother EB just said in the comments that I do it all the time with my tribe. And Hadia said the same thing, because this is her idea. That's why she's the executive producer.
Wow,
like, the thing is, when I do it with my tribe, that's me just simply loving on my private space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love my people. If I call you my people, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you win.
Right.
Whether it includes me or not.
Right.
And that's just how I've always been. I mean, like, I say all the time, I wish I knew how to be selfish. If I knew how to be selfish, I'd be wealthy. I'd be, and I'd probably be a lot of other things.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be DJ Beloved.
And that's the part. So it's like,
the name in itself is telling you, where your true heart is.
Right.
And I think when you feed, you got to feed what's feeding you, brother. Like, that's the natural law of the universe, right? If you don't plant these seeds, how do you get fruit? How do you get the wealth of the earth? And you're planting seeds, you're tithing through helping
jewelry.
People. Tithing by helping people, that's why you're blessed. Because you are blessing to others.
This guy, man. This guy, yo.
I'm just gonna tell it like it is, beloved.
Nah, listen, because Vinny called me yesterday, man, and he said some things to me, and he was like, "Yo, I just talked to Kelly." Yo, like, you know how Vinny and Matt.
Right.
Like, yo, he was so excited. Like, he was like, "Yo, is this Dwayne?" I was like, "Vinny, what's good, yo?" And he was like, "Yo, I just talked to Kelly. He told me you're doing his podcast, dude." Anything you need. I'm like, calm down. I'm like, calm down. But, he said basically, he said the same exact thing. He said, yo, dude, you knew me for 5 minutes, and you introduced me to someone that changed my brother's life.
Mm.
And I was blown away. First of all, I was blown away when I saw his name light up on my phone, because I haven't talked to this guy since the last time we left your house.
Wow.
So it's like, I honestly left your house that day thinking, all right, he gave him some advice.
Right.
I will go my way, they gonna go their way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I didn't know that advice led up to the level of success that he's had so far. And it's like, for this guy to call me and tell me, like, yo, you changed my brother's life, that completely blew my mind. He was like, yo, don't you ever stop helping people. He was like, because you're not helping people so that people can help you. You're helping people so that you can keep being blessed.
Yeah.
Like, this dude had me in here freaking out. Like, I had goosebumps. It was like my hair on my arm was standing up. And he said, I know that you're tired of being screwed over and you're tired of, like, listen, I got people that I can point to on a TV show and know for a fact that they're there because I helped them get there.
Right.
I can hear somebody on a radio station and know that I can hear their voice or hear their music because I did that.
Word.
I can look at people get gigs in certain places and know. Like, I've had promoters call me and say, yo, this guy said he's your cousin. Is it true? and I'll just lie like, yeah, he good.
Right.
And then after he plays, they'll call me back like, you sure he your cousin? Because he don't play like he your cousin. And I'll leave it right there. You know what I'm saying? I say, hey, look, if he said he my cousin, he my cousin.
Well, I think, man, like I said, at the end of the day, you never realize I truly believe that all things work for the good of the Lord, right? I really do. And I think that, you are not a mistake. You are there. You are here for a reason and a season, as they say, and that we have to be so conscious of how we affect other people, right? It could be the crazy lady on the train that may give you something that God put her there at that certain time to just tell you something, and that's it, or you saying something to someone on the train and say, I really like your hat, and they needed that. They needed that, like, because all week long, they were going through some type of hell or trauma, and you just as a stranger gave them a compliment that helped them get through the day or the week.
I'll do you one better. Since I've been doing this podcast, I have had no technical difficulties. I would humbly say you're by far one of my biggest guests.
Mm.
You and Jihad, like, you guys' accomplishments, and so not for nothing. I've only had 3 guests. And all of you got, like, even my little brother Tragedy, it's like he hasn't done what you guys have done, but he's a monster in his own right. He's a 38-year-old living legend as far as I'm concerned. Word. But I haven't had one technical difficulty. Today, mics don't want to work. I've run tests on these mics every day. Like, I ran a test on this mic this morning.
Bro, to me, that's when you're having that level of difficulty and obstacles, that means you're doing something.
Oh, Jesus. So,
I truly believe that.
Jerry is who did my pilot. So you do know that Jerry's a pastor.
Right.
Man, go. So that was the first thing I posted on YouTube.
I saw that.
And if you go listen to the things he said, frustration is the key to your success.
Yeah.
Because that means you're on the right track. So for you to just continue talking while I'm literally, like, y'all didn't see it, but I was on the floor. I was in here yanking.
Bro,
for him to be someone that's been in the business, you've seen that a million times.
Yeah,
so it's like you just kept talking. Like, yeah, I got you, little brother. Keep go ahead and get it right. And it's like, it's funny because some people love it, some people don't, but it's kind of like that whole Puffy thing.
Yeah.
High vibrations.
Yeah.
Because Dwayne wanted to get frustrated, but Beloved had to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
because like I said, you don't know who's hearing this broadcast that needs to hear what you have to say. And again, you're just being you. You don't even know that how important it is. And that's why I tell artists this all the time. Stop trying to go for the masses. You want to get a hit record. No, get that one hit fan. Get that one fan
that believes in you.
Because you know what? They gonna tell
everybody. Yep.
And they're gonna be so passionate about you that they will forego someone bigger. They'd be like, "Oh, Kendrick is playing at the venue tonight. You going to that?" "No, I'm going to my man's show." What? "Oh no, he just speaks to me different." Right. That's what you want.
'Cause see, I tell a story, man. The story, what happened in my career that reminds me the most of that is Jihad did this party one time at, what was that big club in New York? Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
All right? So BLS used to do that after party. Okay. So we did this party at Shadows one night. Remember they had the rubber dub room?
Mm-hmm.
Room that room holds about 50 to 100 people?
Yeah.
Big room, you talk about 500 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
So Jihad's DJing in this room. Like, first of all, when they called us for the gig, they called Jihad. Jihad said, "Call Beloved." Jihad said, "I'll do the big room. Call Beloved. Make sure he does the other room." They called me to do the damn thing, and they want me to play classics for 6 hours. I'm furious. Okay. Right?
Oh yeah, because that's the I mean,
So because normally it would be reggae, but
yeah,
since it was a house music party, they wanted classics in that room.
which is actually more special than the big room.
Right. So I'm like, yo, I'm not doing this thing. He said, yes, you are. I already told him you're doing it. Just clear the date. And mind you, this is like early. This is 14, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I go do this gig, man. And this is the CD. This is the CD era. Okay. This is flash drive.
Okay.
This is like CD books with wheels, like a mini suit, like a carry-on suitcase.
Because you've decided to give up vinyl.
Right. Okay. So I had to take my CDJs. This is like CDJ 1000. First CDJs. Boom. I'm playing. There's nobody in this freaking room. But then this one guy walks in there. And this dude danced for like 4 hours straight. That's
That's the best.
He was just.
That's the best.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Just going.
Yeah.
You know. Then he left the room. He brought 3 more people back with him. They did. He leave the room again. He get 5 more people. Boom. Then they all leave and he stays. Now he's by himself the whole time. I'm like, walks over to the DJ booth. He hands me a business card. This dude is the guy that puts together the biggest disco party in New York.
Wow.
The disco party fundraiser.
Wow.
He was like, yo, how old are you? I was like, 29. No way. I'm 29. He said, and you know all of this music?
Yeah, because you're a student. You study.
So when you say things like you just said, man, it definitely comes down to you never know. You never know. You never know who's in the room. You never know who's listening. You never know who's watching.
So, inside story, right? My wife is frustrated at her gig, right? And she's like, I got to get another job. Oh, no, I won't even use that example. Let me use this example when I was at BT, right? And I told Kirk Franklin, right? I was like, Kirk, these people over here crazy, man. I gotta go somewhere else, man. I gotta find another spot. And what Kirk Franklin said to me, he was like, Kel, that's why God has you there. He says, because it's messed up over there. you on assignment. And I'm like, you know how you want somebody to be like, I hear you, bro. I was like, damn.
The funny thing is, right? It is funny because I remember I was at Bobby Wooten's house. And Kirk was hanging out. And that whole week was just crazy for me because I'm like a 17-year-old kid. I'm like 17, 18 years old. Kirk Franklin. Like in this 1 week, I've bumped into Teddy Riley, Jermaine Jackson,
wow,
Kirk Franklin, and at that time there was a group called Men of Vision.
Of course. Yeah.
Men of Vision.
Epic. It was Epic, right? Yeah.
Men of Vision and Luther Vandross.
Whew.
I'm a 17-year-old kid. All right? Like if social media was out back then, I would have been, as the young people say, lit. Okay? Like I would have been lit because I was always around a celebrity. Like whenever I was at Bobby's house, there was somebody important there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know who Bobby is.
Yeah.
So it's like Keith Sweat, I'll Give All My Love to You, Surface, Atlantic Star. I'm a kid, but I have all these records.
Right.
Like on that turntable right there is the Whispers album. Like I have always been an old soul and a student. So, I remember Kirk just being like he just, it's like he found a space in the room.
Right. But he a real one.
Yeah. Like he,
Kirk would be like, "I'm a nigga. What's going on?" You know, like
that's what I like.
And when he would come to BET. It was so funny. All the talent folks would be all, you know, Reverend Franklin, Mr. Franklin. He'd be like, "What up, nigga? What's going on?" And they all like, "Oh my God, it's Kirk."
Yo,
I said, he just.
The funniest thing to me is when that recording of him and his son going at it came out.
And it wasn't, to me, I was like,
that's Kirk.
That's Kirk.
That's Kirk. I was like, yo, that's Kirk.
Right.
Like, because I remember in the studio something happened that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
Like musically. Like somebody hit the wrong note, whatever. And I remember you know, if you know Kirk, he does this thing where he's like, oh no, she gonna do that shit again. And the whole room just fell out, and it was like,
right, because so what people don't realize is that, again, we put these celebrities and people on these pedestals, right? My brother's a minister, but he's still my brother, right? Like, and I know that clown from, you know, like, you know what I mean? But you know, I understand he has this reverence in the community, and he actually just presided over Reverend Butts' service, right?
Oh wow!
It was crazy because it's a proud brother, little brother moment for me, seeing my big brother, you know, preside over that. And you got President Clinton there, you got Eric Adams and the governor there, like all of these, Schumer, you know, Chuck Schumer there, and he telling them, yo, Chuck, you got to wrap it up. Like, and I'm just like, look at my brother doing that. But he's just a regular dude. So inside, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But so,
that means if you at work, turn it down a little bit.
He was so frustrated because his job was to, you know, keep the train on the track per se. This service, Reverend Bus service, started at 2:00. I kid you not, we walked out of there at 7:30.
Are you lying?
I'm not lying.
5.5 hours?
And everybody, I think it was, as my brother would say, Linda Dam, Laura Dam, John Dam, and the whole damn family. But it was amazing. It was great. But just to see him, that's regular my brother D. You know what I mean? Just frustrated. He said I guess somebody had texted him and said, "Hey, such and such want to speak." So he turned his phone off and pretended he was like, "Yeah, my phone died. I'm so sorry."
Oh.
No, he's a minister in a church.
Right.
But again, it just speaks to that they're human beings. So when we put these people, whether it be Jake's, Joel Osteen, or you know,
Kanye,
any of these people, don't put them on a pedestal, because at the end of the day, they're human beings with flaws, just like us. Right. You know what I mean? And we gotta understand that they're human beings that have great days, and we have bad days. And guess what? Celebrities are not excluded from that.
And that is a great point to wrap it up on, because as humans with flaws, Libras have a flaw of not paying attention to what time it is. And you let me know that you had to be out of here by 1.
Go ahead. I'm going to give you about 10 more minutes.
Okay, all right. I got it. Look, you said you had to be out at 1.
Because I know,
okay. So,
but thank you for that, bro.
No, absolutely. Because not for nothing, I feel like there's a difference between utilizing your resources and taking advantage of your resources.
Word.
So if you tell me you have to be out at 1, listen, you're too great of a resource for me to abuse it. You know, I saw the phone said 1 o'clock. It's time to go. You know what I'm saying?
And bro, there's always can be a part 2.
Hey, Kelly G's coming back, y'all.
Yeah, because I see this setup out here. I'm like, this is.
Yo,
I got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, he walked in. Listen, it is crazy, and I appreciate that, because not for nothing, I mean, like this. I've always been a fan of intimate spaces,
right?
But my workspace, I'm used to it being bigger. Like I'm used to having like the big mixing console and all that stuff. So I used to complain, and then one day I just fell in love with it.
Yeah,
like, yo, this setup is kind of dope. And so when you walked in here, and the first thing you did was you looked around, you said, "I need this setup." And it's like, I'm thinking to myself like, boy, I'd have been in your house. You don't need this setup. You know what I'm saying? But it's the intimacy of the room, and,
Yeah,
I understand that because
room,
well, I'm an energy person.
Yeah.
I feel like if it ain't right, then it ain't right.
Yeah. Word.
And over here at BPM, we have a thing where we say good vibes and no vibes. So, because there's enough negativity in the world to last us a lifetime and then some.
Yep.
And Jerry said this on his show. Well, he said to me, he said, I'm the solution to the things I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the negativity that's just spewed over the internet and, the television. So it's like for me, I just wanted to have some positive conversation.
Right. And you can either be part of the problem or part of the solution.
And that's it.
And what a lot of people don't realize that they complain, well, that intersection needs a stop sign. That intersection needs a stop sign. Well, maybe it's you that needs to go down to the city council.
Right. You should go down there and say something about the stop sign. I mean, listen, that's it. It's a matter of, I know what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need to itemize what I don't like. Because in the end, it's in the category of I don't like it.
Right.
So I'm going to do everything to be the solution. I want to have positive conversation. Yes, we can talk about some critical topics, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to talk about because if you're going to talk about what's wrong with it, be able to figure out how to fix it.
I used to tell people to work for me, don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions.
Right, because chances are I already know what the problem is too.
I think I was able to survive in sort of a corporate environment because I realized that early in my career is that let me get my boss solutions, not problems, right? So I can say, hey, beloved, the second mic is messed up, but I went to Guitar Center. We got new mics. We're working on it. Got an invoice coming to you, so just be aware. That's what you want to hear.
Exactly. Like, look,
you don't want to hear that.
when my little brother Marmar sees this podcast, he's gonna ask me, "Did you throw that XLR out?" So that it doesn't end up out at a party.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
True.
So
where you really like,
right.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like you have to. I don't like pessimistic people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to hear about what could go wrong. Right. I have a motorcycle. The motorcycle has over 60,000 miles on it. That's not typical for a sports bike. Okay? That's typical for like a Harley Davidson or sports touring. And a few years ago, we decided to take a ride to Virginia Beach. And everybody looked at me and said, yo, you gonna ride that Gixxer to Virginia?
Wow.
And I rode that Gixxer to Virginia and back.
Wow.
So, to me, I always loved the saying, it ain't the car, it's the driver. And the thing is, you don't water dead plants. You water seeds that become healthy plants.
Word.
Because if you've allowed that plant to die, that was a choice you made.
Yep.
Because it's too easy to feed a plant. You ain't even got to do nothing but pour some water in it and put it next to a window that gets some sunlight.
Yep.
So when I see dead flowers, I see lazy people.
You sure you ain't Jamaican?
Hey.
You got 1,000 jobs, bro.
I am Jamaican. And it's crazy because, it's like I just love seeing people win. And that's just what I'm about, man. It's like, I know what it feels like to lose. I know what it feels like to wish somebody would have told me not to go down that street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But guess what? God kept you.
Yeah, he did.
He still protected you.
And I got a mother that prayed hard.
Yeah, you and the gig you didn't get or the opportunity you didn't get, he was protecting you from something, right? You were enthusiastically trying to run in the wrong direction, and God said, "All right, let me put this obstacle in his way.
Yeah, let me trip him up a little.
Yeah, let me trip him up because I need him for something greater."
And I believe that too because my junior year, I think it was my junior year of high school. I collapsed on the basketball court.
Oh wow!
Heart stopped, and I woke up in the hospital.
Mm.
They said I'd never play basketball again. I went on to play my senior year. I went on to play semi-pro basketball in Massachusetts. I went on to play in a summer league in Martha's Vineyard, some big fancy summer league they had up there, amongst other things. So I'm a firm believer that the only person that can tell you no is the Creator.
Yep.
The only reason why people tell you no is because they don't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
and I think this is very, very crucial to surround yourself. You know, it's about what you feed yourself, right? Like at the end of the day, just like in the natural, if you eat bad food, you know, and you eat crazy stuff, guess what?
You get crazy results.
Yeah, you get crazy results. And, you know, now, like, there were certain TV shows that I used to watch. I can't watch it anymore. I can't put that energy in me anymore. I have to feed myself around positive things, you know, because we're in such perilous times. You know, you gotta be feeding your spirit, man, because it's tough out there.
Okay, so now I definitely don't feel crazy because even recently I'm finding my taste test is changing dramatically. It's like I don't want to watch certain TV shows.
Yeah.
I don't want to see certain posts on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't want to see certain posts on Instagram. Like I have been utilizing the unfollow button tremendously. It could be for something as simple as like just something negative, just something that doesn't feed what I'm trying to do now.
Right. Because if you and what people don't realize is these algorithms are so savvy, you know, that it will continue to feed you those things. And there were studies of, you know, especially teenage girls that are, you know, going through depression, and as soon as they click on one thing, the algorithm just keeps feeding them things. So
Right.
you got this high suicide rate amongst these teenagers because they're constantly bombarded with this negative stuff. I mean, if I got a hold of your Google account, I know if you're having a baby, I know you're looking for a new CD player,
Right.
I know you're looking for a new car, I know everything about you. If Google knows everything about you.
Listen, I feel like I'm talking to myself. We are definitely going to do a part 2. Oh man, listen, this is. We might should do this together. So, thank you so much, man, for making a trip down here to hang out with me. You know, I appreciate everything you've done to help me in my career as well.
Thank you, man.
Listen, I've done remixes for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bang the drum.
Yeah, you and Jihad. Yeah, like it's.
We're gonna do a project, man. We got to get this project.
Listen.
Just got to figure out now that the pandemic is past.
Right.
Because I think it was right before the pandemic.
Yo, we had a lot of stuff on the table.
Yeah,
like
right before the pandemic.
We had some. Listen, we actually had some life-changing things on the table because we talked about doing a lot of things together.
Yeah.
And
I'm such a fan of your sound, man, and that's what I really admire. And I would tell artists this all the time: find your sound. Stop trying to be or trying to act like something else, right? Like you just, you know, I know what I'm gonna get when I get a beloved mix. I know what I'm gonna get.
Right.
It's a brand. It's like Coca-Cola. You
Right.
know,
Nah, I
when I
appreciate
pop
that.
open a Coke, I know what it's gonna taste like.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it's a consistent brand, man. So
Nah, I appreciate that, and I absolutely try to be that, and that's why I have been going so hard at doing this podcast. So, I absolutely appreciate you coming down here again. I can't thank you enough, and we definitely will do a part 2. And listen, my brother Tragedy came over here on Wednesday, and we decided we're gonna do a 5-part series because that's how much conversation we can have.
right.
So maybe we could do a mini series of sorts.
Yeah, and you know what? I think
'Cause we didn't-
I was at this this Big Brother, Big Sister like foundation, like a fundraiser, and they were saying that they have over 40,000 applicants, especially just young black men
Wow.
that need mentoring. You know what I mean? That are going that are that
And
are
we
stru-
talked about starting a mentoring program
Right.
together because that's really what I want to do.
and that are struggling. So to be able to have a platform or at least a conversation about that somebody can hear and go, oh, phew, I'm going through the same thing through.
That's
Thank
it.
God I thought I was crazy. I thought something was wrong with me. But guess what? I have these struggles and everybody has different struggles. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, because I wanted to start a program called Hope,
Yeah.
helping our people evolve. And I had so much resistance, man. It was like,
That means it's a great idea.
hey, listen, 38-year-old me isn't as resilient as 44-year-old me. So, but I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I know you gotta go. I appreciate you giving me the extra time. And you let me know when you can come back so I can let them know when they can come back. And because we didn't touch on, we talked about BET a little. We didn't even talk about CGI Chicago. We didn't talk about Revolt TV with Puffy. We didn't talk about Netflix with Kevin Lyles. And so we have more to get into. So the next time, I'm just gonna come to your house.
Okay.
And then you just gonna have to kick me out. So
I mean, you got the fly setup here, but okay.
hey man, whatever you want to do. So thank y'all again for tuning in.
Thank you.
This is the DJ Beloved podcast. This has been my guest Kelly G Griffin, and I am the DJ Beloved. Peace.